Hi friends, this is Sarah, the owner and maker behind Multifarious Nature. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are a new viewer, big welcome to you. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you're joining me. And I'm recording on a Friday again. So yes, the shop update is no new colors again because I keep recording on Fridays. I really try to do it on Thursdays, but we had a really busy Thursday yesterday. We were running around looking for chicks. We went to a bunch of different stores and we actually, well, I'll get into that in life update at the end. If you guys want to stick around and find out just a little bit more about me and my family, you can stick around for the life update at the end and I'll just give you a little lowdown on what's going on in our little bitty homestead that's been starting and growing and all that good stuff. So stick around for that at the end. So we'll get into our whips first. Actually, before even the whips, what I'm wearing. Oh my gosh, before I forget. This is the Kingston cardigan. You can see this really pretty braiding detail, and it actually goes down under the arm and down the side of the body. It's cropped. You could totally make it longer if you would like. It is, the designer is Taylor E. Owen, and actually did this as a test knit. So these really cute vintage metal buttons that I ordered from a store that is off of Etsy, and she's out of Canada. And so I have a bunch of those buttons that I sewed on there. And it's just a really, really nice cardigan. It has a super comfortable fit. Like Taylor said, the designer, she likes to have kind of a bigger drop to your underarm so that you have like room to breathe under there, and I totally agree. I love the fit of this. This is one of the most comfortable cardigans. I think this is actually the first button-down cardigan I've ever made, because I've actually never done one before, so this is my first, and I love it. So I held fingering weight yarn double, hand-dyed it. This is my Bordeaux colorway. It was a limited run color, and love it. So I dyed that up, and it is a 100% Corriedale base from a farmer out of Ohio. I had to think about that for a second. She's out of Ohio, and she has a flock of Corriedale sheep, and she had coned wool that I then skeined up, dyed, and made this beautiful cardigan. It's very comfortable, very warm, and cozy, not itchy at all. Corriedale is very soft. And I absolutely love it. And it was so much fun to knit. As I said, it was a test knit. This is the first and only test knit I have done so far. I don't tend to do a lot of test knits because I really enjoy taking my time doing knits. And test knits, you really have a time frame, like when you need to get it done. And she gave us a really good time frame to get it done. I did have to knit on it a lot to get it done in that time frame, but I really enjoyed knitting it. This was a wonderful pattern. I would definitely knit it again. I absolutely love it. I wear it quite a bit, actually. So, yeah, big fan. So, Kingston cardigan. Highly recommend it. It's on Ravelry. She may also have it somewhere else, but I know it's on Ravelry. So, my works in progress. We're going to get right into it, and you will recognize these patterns. I've been working on them constantly, and they're all pretty involved patterns. So, yeah, you guys are going to hear me talk about them quite a bit. I can't help myself. I can't get through things super fast. I only need a couple hours a day. So, yeah, this is what I get. I try my hardest. And mid-row, again, these are really big rows though. So, to be fair, this is my 100% Peruvian Highland wool base and my chestnut colorway, which is not currently in the shop. It's not stocked currently in the shop, but it is currently available. So, I mean, you just need to contact me if you would like to order this beautiful color. It is chestnut, and it is gorgeous. It is a very warm, cozy brown, and I have it dyed up again on my 100% Peruvian Highland wool base, and this is the Big Cozy Cardi by Andrea Mowry. I keep forgetting to put a progress keeper on here. I'm okay. When I get done with this podcast, I'm going to attach one on here because I get so frustrated because I cannot keep track of how far I've gotten because the progress keeper I had on here fell off, and I honestly don't know where it went. I cleaned out my car, it's not there. And I did say I was going to like go through this bag really rigorously to see if it's in there somewhere, which it very well could be. And here I'm doing this as I'm talking to you. Sorry about that. I don't know. I have no idea where this little progress keeper went, which is a bummer. It had a vintage bead on it, and it was really cute, but oh well. Hopefully I'll find it. I think I got about 2 inches done. Maybe. Or 1.5 inches. I usually only get a couple, not even a whole repeat. So they're repeats of 4. I don't want to give too much away. It's a paid-for pattern. But I think I got through 1 repeat every lunch. Like a repeat and a half every lunch hour. And I only got to work on it 3 days. So I would say I'm probably 2 inches. That's a fair amount that I probably knit. Yes. I didn't get to work on it on Wednesday because if you live in the northwest region, you probably got hit with this as well. We got hit with a massive snowstorm. We didn't get measurable snow really, but we got measurable ice, like serious ice. Our yard right now and our driveway is covered in about I'd say just under 1 inch of ice, which is not good. It's a little unnerving. The dogs go out there and it's a little entertaining because they just like run all over the place and they're sliding everywhere. But when you go out there, like I have cleats I put under my boots because currently to get to our ducks to feed them, I will slip and slide all over the place. Sorry, tangent. I know I get tangenty, but anyway. So I didn't get to work on it on Wednesday. That's what I'm trying to say, is because I ended up coming home at lunch and then I luckily was able to work remote the rest of the day because I did not want to drive through an ice storm. It was an ice storm, and by ice storm I mean freezing rain. And I left after a half hour of the freezing rain starting and the roads were already slippery. So hopefully you were able to be somewhere safe and you got home safe, but it was a mess. It was a mess. And because it's still a mess, but it's getting better. So I'm going to, of course, still, haven't gotten there yet. My autumn kiss is going to be the color of this. I will get to it. I'm very much looking forward to knitting with it because it's so soft. It's on my 100% Surrey alpaca base. Oh, so soft. Anyway, if you hear that boofing in the background, that woofing, it's my dog. She just apparently wants to put her 2 cents in on that. It's just a stinker. Anyway, getting through it. That one's kind of a long term, but it's very meditative. So each row is different because of the way the pattern is. I do have to look at the pattern, even though it's like over 300 some stitches that I'm doing this repeat on. I do have to do that, and that keeps it interesting enough that I don't get bored. I did fear I was going to get bored, but I haven't. So there you go. Next is the brick sweater. My remake of the brick sweater. Okay, if you're new, you don't know this, but I made the sweater already, but I made it bigger, did not check my gauge, and it was huge. It was very big. Like my sleeve would hang down double the width of my arm, so, which for me, this is the way I like my sleeves. I like them about bracelet length. I like them to be fitted. And I thought, oh, I'll just wear this as a sweater, like a little sweatshirt sweater. It'll be so comfortable and wonderful. And it was comfortable. It was comfortable if I sat somewhere, knit, and never got up and never did anything. I was totally comfortable. But whenever I'd come inside, so I like to go out in the morning early and knit outside, watch the sun come up. It's quite relaxing, and I highly recommend it if you can get up early. I highly recommend it. Worth it. Every time I do it, I love it and I'm worth it. It's so worth it. On the weekends, I get up early. So, but I would come in after my little knitting session and I would be like, oh, I want to make breakfast. And I would immediately have to take that sweater off because the sleeve would not only get like in the food I'm trying to make, but it would also get in the way when I'm trying to wash my hands, and oh my gosh, it was a disaster. So not a very practical sweater. Not practical because of how I did it. I didn't gauge swatch. You need to gauge swatch, you know. I'm not the best at it, not the best. So I did gauge swatch again. I completely ripped out that sweater, by the way, and I reclaimed the wool. That's what this beautiful brown is, the dark brown, which is actually this right here. And I'm now, it also grew. It grew because of the large, not gauge swatching, using a larger needle with it. So that's why it became massive. So I'm actually not only holding or knitting it with a smaller needle, so I'm getting a better gauge, but I'm actually holding it double with this really pretty, it kind of looks like a tweed, but it's not tweed. It's just, I don't I got this from the Michigan Fiber Festival last year had the American Cancer Society there, and they had a bunch of, like if you do a donation, you can pick up some wool from the table that they had there. And so that's what I did. I just grabbed this, was one of those wool items, and I am holding it together. It's not really wool, but it was part of that. So I picked up some cones, and I am holding that double. It's a really pretty kind of salmon-y with the flecks of color. And that is getting this really pretty marled color. I think it looks really pretty. So I definitely think I'm gonna wear it. But look at the progress, you guys. I got serious progress. I have 2 finished sleeves, and I am making my way down my body here. So excited. I think I have only one more decrease section. Oh, and this is the Brick Sweater by Claire Lee. Let's look at my notes. For those of you looking. So I'm going to do the same thing. So these cute little cuffs here that are with a thicker lopey. I'm going to do the same contrasting color and or complementing. It's a contrast, but it complements. I'm going to do that as the color as well. And this is the last amount of this brown that I have. And I'm knitting down the bottom here. Like I said, I have one more increase or decrease, one more decrease round. It's a waist shaping. So I did the waist shaping this time. And I also did the tapered sleeves. So the sleeves are smaller instead of the massive sleeves. Which, guess what? I tried it on. It fits so good. It fits to my wrist the way I like it. It fits very similar to this sleeve where it's obviously has a little bit of room, but it's quite fitted. And then it fits my body nicely, which the body wasn't the problem. It was the sleeves that were the problem. And then we're going to keep knitting, and I think the length is going to be really good. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited, you guys, because I know I will wear it. I know I will wear it because the sleeves fit beautifully. And that's always my biggest problem, is if the sleeves don't fit well, I know I won't wear it. And I'm learning this about myself. And it takes a while to do that because I've only been knitting, I guess I've been knitting for a very long time. But like hardcore, like almost everyday knitting, I've really only been doing that since, well, like many, the whole, you know, pandemic. I don't like using the vid, you know. We'll say the pandemic. I don't like causing stress to people. So in 2019, like many of the people in the world, it was, let's see, or 2020 actually really is the year. It was 2020. We got married in 2019. 2020 happened. And our first year, because we got married in September. So our first year of marriage was that. So that was a good test for us, you know, like to be around each other that much, because of course we were at home. So it was hilarious. Anyway, we're pretty much homebodies anyway, so it was totally fine. But anyway, for those of you who got married during that time, you understand. Anyway, I'm getting there. I am getting there, and I love it. It's going quickly. I've been knitting on this a lot. I knit on this usually at night when we are after we eat dinner. I just kind of trick away on this while we're watching like some Netflix or something, and absolutely love it. It's so much fun. So much fun. I really love this wool. I'm so glad that I was able to reclaim it because I just know I'm going to wear this and it's going to be so warm and cozy. Like I said, we live in Michigan and it gets very cold here, and it's also very moderate and cool in the spring and fall. So I get a lot of good sweater weather, good sweater weather. So absolutely love it. Anyway, that's the brick sweater. I do recommend that pattern. It's a pretty simple pattern. Yeah, it's pretty simple, really. I don't know if it's necessarily the best first sweater pattern, but definitely a second sweater, I think it would be great. So, and it's a raglan sweater. For those of you there want to know the type of sweater. Okay, next we have the What Tomorrow Brings shawl. I did work on it. And I am enjoying it. I think I'm going to work on it a little bit here after I'm done, because I do enjoy working on it. I am making my way through it. I am at a wonderful garter stitch section, which I always enjoy because it goes pretty quickly. It's just wonderful knitting. I love it. But look at this cute. So I was, I think like right about here. I have the marker somewhere. That's somewhere. It's probably right in front of my face. Oh, here we go. There it is. So yeah, I was just a little bit into this cute cable section of the sweater. So now I'm in section 18. And so this is color 18. This is the Suburban Stitcher 2022 Advent. And like I said, it's the What Tomorrow Brings shawl is the pattern. They're beautiful, very pastel-y, soft colors. I really like it. It's not my normal coloring. Like I don't normally dye up pastels too much. I try a little bit here and there when I do speckling especially, but I'm definitely more of like the deep, rich toned person. But this is just so fun. I don't know what it is. Like shawls and blankets, I just want to have fun and make colors that I normally don't always wear. So, because it's just like an accent piece, you know. But I'm getting there. I am moving my way down, and there'll be a couple more rows, of course. There's 25 sections to the shawl. 25 sections, and I'm on section 18. So I'm getting there. I am getting there. I guarantee I will not be done with this next week either, because it's a very slow and steady progress because there's a lot of stitches on here. But yes, for those of you that might want to know, these are the cutest little, they're just absolutely adorable. The tulip stoppers, and I got them from my local yarn store. I live near Holland, Michigan, which is one of our neighboring towns. Ooh, I got my needles coming untwisted here. One of our neighboring towns, Holland, Michigan, and it's a big Dutch area. And there we go. They've got the tulips. So Tulip Festival. It's called Tulip Time. It's a big thing every year. So our local yarn store had these cute little tulip stoppers, and they're absolutely adorable. So I just had to pick them up. I got them. There we go. So that is that. I'm really enjoying that pattern, as I said. So if you're looking for a super fun pattern that you can use minis in particular, and they are, I think, 10 gram minis. Actually, they might be 20 gram minis. Ooh, don't quote me on that. I don't remember, honestly. I don't remember. But I would say for 20 grams for sure. If you have 20 gram minis, you could definitely do this. And many of these minis I have extra of. And I purchased an additional pattern that is by the same designer, Telly Bean Knits. And I think it's a cowl. If you go on Telly Bean Knits Ravelry, she has it on there. And it's for the remnants of the shawl. So whatever you have left over from the shawl, you can make this cute cowl that is also many different sections for each color. Really, really cute. So I did purchase that pattern as well because I got a discount because I had purchased the Advent. So I don't think I will make the cowl with the remnants, but I might make the cowl with a bunch of remnants of other minis that I have, because I've got a lot of minis now that I've had Advents for each year. I have remnants, so yes, very exciting. Okay, speaking of exciting, I have talked about this in my last video, and I talked about it before, but I finished another skein. So I've been spinning wool. Yes, so this is my second skein. I'm getting better, you guys. It is more balanced, meaning that it's not as over twisted. So I'm getting better. I'm getting better. This is 3-ply. I'm doing chain plying, and it is a Gotland lamb fleece that I purchased. I processed it from a raw fleece, and so this is what this beauty looks like. It's beautiful, creamy, light gray color. It's so pretty. So now I have two skeins, and this is my first one. This is my second. Even looking at them next to each other, this looks longer than this one because this is tighter than this one, with the like twist and everything. And you can see a lot of little twists that are like twisting up on themselves still. And this one, a balanced yarn is when you hang it and it doesn't like twist, it just like stays there. I'm still learning about all this, but this one is definitely getting there. I'm getting more balanced. I'm so happy, but I just love it. Well, here's the thing. So my first ever fleece that I purchased and processed is this beauty right here. So this is a Cotswold fleece, and it is very much a rustic fleece. Now, part of it is how I spun it. I overspun it in spots, so it does feel a little rope-like, and it's a little prickly, and it was a very, very dirty fleece. I got this from a seller out of, just picked another little piece of veggie matter out of there. I got this from a seller out of Colorado, and it has nothing to say I would never order from them again. I have ordered from them multiple times because I purchased some merino fleeces from them as well. And they are really very honest about their fleeces. Like, they did say it's going to be some decent veggie matter. It's dirty, you know, it's going to take some time to process. And they were right. They were right. It was very dirty, and it took a lot of work to process. But I do have the entire fleece all spun up. Here's the first skein, just to show you guys. So this is my first skein ever. I should say my very first skein, I did a little bit of it's like a synthetic, or not synthetic, what is it? I don't know. It's supposed to be similar to like the way silk is. But it's very inexpensive. So I got that came with my wheel. The person I purchased it from just gifted it to me, which was really kind of her. But then I was like, I just want to dive into like actual wool. I was really intrigued by it, and I heard multiple spinners say, work with what you want to work with. Just do it. Just do it. Because you'll be motivated to continue. And they were not wrong. They were so right. I was very motivated. So this is my Cotswold, and this is the first one I did. This is the first. And you can see there's some serious, like, thick and thin. It's beautiful. I love it. It's a learning fleece. It's I just love it. I love it so much. Now, here's the funny part. So this is actually pretty soft. I would say it's underspun in spots. It's definitely thick and thin in spots, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's still a little prickly, but it's definitely softer than some of these. So now you can see the difference here. Now this was I'm trying to think what you want to call it, a multicolor fleece. So that's why it looks like this gray, because there were black portions, there were white portions, there were gray portions, and by mixing it all together, it became this beautiful marled, you know, what have you. This is 2-ply. And as you can see, a significant change. I had some tighter spots here and there, but I got a lot better when it comes to consistency when you look at all these other skeins with it. but it's again a little bit rope yarn like. So, but yeah, I have a serious amount of that. That is my first ever fleece. And I'm going to make the Miles cardigan jacket, Miles shirt jacket by Ozetta. I've been admiring this for a while, and I want to make this with that fleece. But I'm kind of thinking I don't have enough with just that wool. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just am a little worried that I don't have enough wool with it. I would like to do it just with this, but I'm a little paranoid that I don't have enough. So what I'm going to do after I get off this podcast is actually weigh all of this and see how much I actually have, because I'm so grateful. Ozetta actually did put not only the yardage, but she also put the weight. My yardage that I did the initial time, I don't think I did it quite right. So I don't trust it. So I'm going to weigh it, and if it comes in close or over the weight of the required amount, then I feel comfortable doing it. But otherwise, I am going to combine my Gotland with this, and I think it would be really pretty using this as like the contrast on the cuffs and the collar, especially because this is a lot softer. This is a lot softer. This does not have a prickle factor to it, for me at least. It doesn't. And especially since it's a lamb fleece for Gotland, it is so soft. It's so soft. So I think that would be a really good contrast to blend with that. And I'll totally do that if I don't have enough of the other. But I'm going to weigh it first. And if I have enough, then I will just use that and use the Gotland for something else. Yeah. But I want to make a coat, and that shirt jacket will be so cozy because, like I said, we get kind of chilly here in the fall and in the spring, but having a light coat sweater like that, I would wear that. I would wear that so much. I would just wear it all the time. Because now that, we'll kind of transition into the life update stuff. So now that we have our 2 ducks, like I said, we live on a couple acres, and we have 2 ducks, and we are getting, drum roll, 5 more chickens. Yeah. One of them might be a rooster. So we ordered them through one of our local farmer co-ops, which is really exciting. I like doing that, supporting my local farmers in our area. And these are all going to be good cold hardy birds, and so they'll be good with cold and egg laying and all that good stuff. For those of you that are new, you may not know this, but we had chickens already. And unfortunately, as life happens, predators got in and got the chickens. It was really, really sad, and I took it super hard. So, we waited patiently because it's going to get warmer here. So at the end of March, so we put our order in, and at the end of March, we should be getting our chicks. And I'm really excited. We've not had chicks. We prior had purchased chickens that are already like teenagers, if you want to think of it that way. So just prior to laying age, and then they started laying. So that'll be a new experience dealing with chicks. But we're excited. We've got a setup for it and everything. And we are working on, primarily Dan, but I'm helping where I can. And we are working on a massive chicken coop. So the current chicken coop we have is probably really only good for like maybe 4 birds at the most in there. And right now the ducks are using it. So we have 2 ducks, and it's very dirty right now. Oof, because we can't like wash it out because it's, like I said, really cold outside. So we just try our best to clean it. But this big one that we are building is huge. So it's going to have a built-on run that's already there, so the birds don't have to completely free range outside. I would like to build like a chicken tractor, is what I think that's what they call it, where you put the chickens in there and you just kind of move it, and then the chickens stay in there, because we have lots of hawks around us and they go after chickens. But yes, it has an 8 by 12 foot chicken coop. Like, I don't even know, it's not really even a chicken coop, because the chicken coop is only so many feet by so many feet, but the actual enclosure is 8 feet by 12 feet. So it's gonna be pretty substantial. I'm pretty excited about it. It's pretty awesome. Like if I was, and there's actually going to be a door, like a gate door that's a door that we can walk through. And I mean, as a kiddo, I would have totally made that into a fort. I would have made that into a fort. Hardcore. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited. So it'll be a lot of fun. And there'll be a lot of room in there for 5 chickens. They'll have plenty of room. And then the ducks, I think we're going to still keep them in their other little house because ducks and chickens can totally live together. The one duck was raised with chickens, but they're very dirty because they like to go swimming and they get all wet. And then they bring that back into the coop. And then they also are messy. Like sorry if this is TMI, but like they poop everywhere. They poop everywhere. So right now that's the hardest part in the winter with their little house, like trying to clean it out. It's hard. So I am looking forward to it being warm so we can actually wash it out, like scrub it and all that good stuff. But we will get there. We'll get there. It's going to warm up. It's getting there. It just kind of is spiking up and down. We are definitely in that weird state where it's like one day it'll be in the 40s, almost, and technically 50s, and then the next day it'll be in the 30s. So it just kind of keeps going up and down, which is why we got that freezing rainstorm, and then it snowed a little. Now it's snowing very lightly on top of that ice. So that's fun. Like when I walk through the yard to get to the ducks, like I said, I have to wear cleats. Like I have these cleats that go onto my boots, and that is literally the only way that I can walk through our yard right now because our yard is a bit hillish. And even not being on a hill, like the flat areas are still like ice rink. Slightly terrifying. So yeah, the dogs just, like I said, run in place almost, and it's a little entertaining, but you don't want them to get hurt. So yeah, absolutely crazy. But that's what it is right now. That weird time frame. End of February, moving into March, which is exciting because baby chicks. We're getting baby chicks in March. I'm very excited. But I'd love to hear about you guys. I'd love to hear what you're up to. What are you making? Have you ever done any hand spinning? Have you gotten sucked into it? I'm letting you know it is a rabbit hole. Okay, so knitting is a rabbit hole, period. I told someone else that I follow, I was watching her videos, and she's got sucked into spinning, and now she has like an electric spinner and a sit-down spinner, and she now wants to do a raw fleece to work from that. And I commented and let her know, it's like, oh, it's such a spiral, because when I went to get my spinning wheel, I bought it from a local, it's an Allegan, and they do mainly weaving at the store. It's Baker's Studio and Lofts. They have beautiful looms there that you can basically rent time to work on. But yes, she sells spinning wheels, and that's where I got my Ladybug, and I absolutely love it. It is a wonderful spinning wheel. Shocked Ladybug, and absolutely love it. But she did say, she's like, oh, I told her, I'm like, well, I figured it'll be a better deal, I can get fleeces and then turn them into my wool and then knit with that, and I'm really excited. It's going to be such a good deal. Like I found the fountain of gold and like spinning wool into golden yarn, and I'm so excited. But it's hilarious because she goes, well, you'll find it might not be cheaper. And on top of that, it's that she said, oh, just wait, you're going to want sheep. And I was like, no way, I'm not going to want sheep. That's crazy talk. I don't know what's the matter with you. Well, okay, we used to live on about an acre, and we were in farm area, but we were in like, yeah, you couldn't have sheep. I mean, you could if you had the land for them, but there's no way. So I was like, okay, yeah, that's not even something I'm gonna think about, whatever. Well, then we moved into the country. And we're on acres, plural. And I found out that 2 owners or so prior to us of the house we currently live at had sheep. They had sheep. Yeah. So I'm not saying we're getting some right now, but we have talked about it and we're really thinking about it a lot. So in the semi-distant, by semi-distant might be a year or so, we might get sheep. Like pretty seriously might get sheep. Like we've really done some research. So I'm not saying we are, but I'm just saying like that's what happens. So, you can backwards and forwards, up and down, but it can be a rabbit hole. And knitting, it can be an inexpensive hobby if you don't do it all the time. But if you get hardcore into knitting, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. But I really enjoy it. And I'm sure like many of you, like, I'd love to hear what your favorite fiber craft is. Like if you're a knitter, crocheter, or you do weaving, I'd love to hear what you like to do. And if you got sucked in and you're just, yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. But I do think it's one of those things where it can spiral. It really can. And not only did I go from knitting and crocheting, but I also started dyeing yarn. So I went down that rabbit hole of dyeing yarn, and then I'm like, oh, now I want to spin yarn. Oh, I want to wash fleeces and spin yarn from fleeces, and it's totally worth it. I mean, it really is. I'm gonna be the worst enabler here, but it is totally worth it. There is something truly special about taking a fleece directly from the animal. Now, I did not shear the animal. But to be able to take them directly from the animal and then clean it and card it, like comb it, then spin it, so you're processing it, and then so you turn it into your yarn, and then take that yarn and turn it into a garment, which I've actually made socks with my hand spun before. It's amazing. So I can see why, like, Andrea Mowry, amazing designer. I'm doing her Big Cozy Cardi. I've done multiple of her patterns. Very much enjoy her patterns and her podcast. She's wonderful. If you haven't ever watched Andrea Mowry's I'll Knit If I Want To, highly, highly recommend her podcast. She is so likable. I just so enjoy her. And she has definitely delved down that rabbit hole of spinning and gotten sucked into it so hard. So she knits with other items or other yarns as well, but she really has gotten into spinning a lot, and it's just wonderful to see what she's creating and what she's creating out of her hand spun. And now she's even designed patterns that are really designed out of using, like, you could use your hand spun for it. And you really can use your hand spun for anything. You just really need to gauge swatch so you know how it will fit, that kind of thing, which is what I'm going to do for this, because I'm pretty sure that Ozetta used unspun wool. I think it's Nutiden or Manchalopi. Let me see what she put on here. I don't want to tell you. Yeah, Manchalopis, which is an unspun wool. So it's a lot like Nutiden. You could definitely use Nutiden. I've seen projects that were used Nutiden. But I'm going to use a spun. Clearly this is a spun wool to make it, and I'm really excited about that. Very excited. I'm so excited, in fact, that I'm trying not to cast it on, because I need to get these other projects done, but sometimes you really just want to cast something on. And shouldn't you let yourself? Like, shouldn't you just cast it on because you really want to? I really want to. And it's big needles. The problem is with those big needle projects, I get sucked in. Like, because I'm a big progress person, so once I start seeing the progress, I like can't stop, won't stop, just keep knitting it. And then it gets worse, because it's just like this, my brick sweater. Once I see that I'm getting close to the end, I'm like, I can do it! And I just keep knitting. And I will stay up late knitting. Like, I will stay up late just to get something done. And I am a process knitter. Like, I enjoy the process of knitting, but then sometimes I want to get the project done because I want to wear it. I really want to wear it because it's cold out and I really want to wear it. Are you a process knitter or like a project? Is it process and project knitter? So are you more like after the end product or are you about the process? I feel like I'm definitely a hybrid. I veer towards the process knitting end of things, but sometimes I'm a project knitter. Like I want to get it done, but I love the process too. So there you go. That's me in a nutshell. Well, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying happy and healthy, and I hope you're creating. And I look forward to hearing about it, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Have a great rest of your week. Take care. Bye.